Hi again. Page 35 of Three Worlds by Nelson Barbour and C.T. Russell. He has a brief page on the subject of his definitions, that is Russell and Barbour's definitions of the words saint and angel. And the reason he seems to want to go to this subject is because of the text that ended the last segment, which is, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment upon all. That's scripture from Jude verse 14. So he wants to make it plain that he still believes, they still believe, since Russell's is signed on, that when the harvest period is over, there'll be a visible appearance of Christ. So he goes into a technical discussion of the difference between the Greek and Hebrew words for angel and saint. Here we go. The word translated angel in the Greek is angelos, and the word for saint is hagios. The literal for angelos is messenger, and for hagios, holy or holy one. In the Hebrew, the word used for angel is malak, the literal of which is messenger, and the word for saint is ga, seed, the literal of which is God seed. When used as an adjective, the word saint is kadosh, literally holy, and then is applied to things as well as to persons. Angel always means messenger, and the character of the angel depends on whose angel he is. If it is an angel of the Lord, it is generally so stated, or if it is the devil's angel, we are informed of that fact. The same word is used when speaking of the messenger of Samuel, Saul, Hiram, and others. But the words for saint, God seed, or the holy ones, applied to persons, always refers to Christ, or those who are Christ, that is, those who are counted for the seed. Neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One, that is, Ga, seed, to see corruption. That's Psalm 16, verse 10. Gather ye my saints, again, Ga, seed, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. That is Psalms 50, verse 5. Again, the word saint, when used as an adjective, is kadosh, thus, despise the word of the Holy One, kadosh, of Israel. Isaiah 5, verse 24. And the Lord my God shall come, and all the kadosh, that is saints, with thee. Zechariah 14, verse 5. There's not a single instance, either in the Old or New Testament, of any word used for angel being translated saint, or vice versa, unless it be assumed that the two saints of Daniel 8:13 were angels. But as the word kadosh, saint, and not malak, angel, is used, Enoch and Elijah are suggested, that is in Daniel 8:13. Hence, his appearing with all his saints means with the church of the firstborn. And when he shall appear, we shall appear with him. Therefore he will not be visible until the harvest is past, and his saints, who have made a covenant with him by sacrifice, are gathered together unto him. And the scriptural evidence that we are now in this time of the harvest is so abundant that those who are investigating this subject can lift up their heads and look up, knowing that their redemption draweth nigh. Coming in Matthew 24, verse 3, and in verse 27, 37, 39, and 2 Peter 3, verse 4, is parousia, and means presence, and is so rendered in the emphatic diaglott. What shall be the sign of thy presence and of the end of the world? And the answer is, verse 37, as the days of Noah, so shall also the presence of the Son of Man be. So you can see how much they, Barbour and Russell, are leaning on Benjamin Wilson. He of Christadelphian origins, that is the Church of God of the Abrahamic faith, as it's now called. He is not, and was not even then, a trusted scholar in the churches, although his book is still published and is acknowledged by Christadelphian groups and, of course, Jehovah's Witnesses. He's not one of the scholars that would have been consulted by most people who were looking into the technical meaning of the word parousia, which most Bibles translate coming, not presence, although they make room for the idea of an extended period, a royal presence, as it were, but a visible coming of a royalty or of a king. So we'll put a link to that on your screen too, the parousia. What scholars then were saying about it and are saying today. And also a video linked to a discussion of the role of teachers, not just teachers throughout church history, which of course, with the exception of Benjamin Wilson, there don't seem to be any teachers outside of the sect or bundle that Barbour and Russell are creating in those days, because of course the teachers would have broken up the vision of authority that they were establishing, this idea of the present truth only being available through certain ones chosen specifically by God for those last days, who would have exclusive claims upon present truth, and particularly the doctrine of the invisible presence. So we'll put the link to a video we did on the role of the teachers, because many of us think Bible only, and Protestants are of course famous for being sola scriptura, but even in the first century it wasn't just apostles and prophets that God was using, it was also teachers. So a video about Luke and the other teachers of the New Testament who we forget were neither apostles nor prophets.